Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, thank you. Come on, this isn't like church. Come on up front. We want to see everybody up front. Thank you all for being here. The rain is held off, and isn't this beautiful? Isn't this facility beautiful? You know, we wouldn't be here today if it were not really for the leadership and the efforts of State Representative Alan Sylvia here on Cook Pond, Cook Pond, Cook Pond. That's all I heard for 2 years, which was good. Cook Pond, Cook Pond, Cook Pond. Now it's King Philip Mill, King Philip Mill, King Philip Mill. But it's all good. It's all about the south end of Fall River, and it's all about providing his constituents, our constituents, with access to this beautiful pond, to this beautiful natural resource. And the work and partnership of our Division of Fisheries and Wildlife and the Department of Public Access, they'll all have an opportunity to say a few words. We wouldn't be here today. I'm just so appreciative of so many people. The first person I'm going to introduce to have come up and say a few words is the man of the hour, State Representative Alan Sylvia.
Not sure about the hour. We've been very busy all day, but this is a great day, a day obviously as mentioned by Senator Rodrigues, that we've been waiting for a long time, the rededication of the Matthew Cuss fishing pier. You know, it was 1973 when this was first dedicated to Representative Matthew Cuss, this beautiful location. And now, look, new and improved handicapped accessibility, just beautiful, you know, and I have to really thank, you know, the commissioner for being here today. So important, Ron Amadon, thank you. I know you're going to say a few words, but that's so important to us. So just to give you a little bit of a background, it was in 1804 that this was originally called Laurel Lake. I know some of you were around at that time, 1804. Certainly not our mayor, but Steve, you may have been. The 1804, it was changed to Cook Pond, actually Cook's Pond, and it was the relationship because of the land that was owned here by the Durfees and Mr. Cook with the ice house. A lot of people don't know this, so I figured I'd throw this out there. I just learned this today. So, but it was changed to Cook's Pond. Whatever we want to call it, whatever you call it, it's more beautiful today than it's ever been. And you know, you don't realize it until you actually come here and look at the vista that you see and the use. One of the Jack, I think, was mentioning today that he was here yesterday, and that there were 6 people fishing here. And you know, this is the most, when we talk about, as far as an urban area, the most densely populated part of our community is the South End. With this additional recreation space, it is so important. So, you know, I also want to thank, I think, Bob Smith, is he here from the Harbor Master? Thank you very much. I mentioned Jack Smith. He's the Director of Public Access. And again, thanks, Jack, for being here. Steve Camara, City Councilor. I know that when Matt Cuss Jr. comes up, he's going to introduce some of his family. But Senator Rodrigues was being very humble. He said that the person I was working over throughout all of this was always Senator Rodrigues to make sure that we could do this and get this underway. It's $500,000. But you know, when I just said on the radio, when you think about people would first think, oh, that's $500,000 taxpayer dollars. No, it came from all of those fishing licenses and all those hunting licenses. That's where that money came from. And if it wasn't used here, it would have been used out in Western Massachusetts somewhere. I know, Commissioner, we like to get some of that occasionally. So we'll be asking again, because we have another spot over there. I just received approval in the House environmental bond bill for $200,000. I should ask for more. Probably. Senator's going to help boost that to take care of that northwest corner of Cook Pond that is clearly visible from here. because that demolition is taking place. That is going to open up that vista for the first time since the late 1800s, an incredible a place again to recreate for this not only the South End but for our entire community. So this is a great day for us. This rededication for Matt Cuss, who did so much for our community, who recognized this pond as we all do as the resource, the environmental and recreational resource for our community. You know, I also want to mention Friends of Cook Pond, Richard Urban, thank you for being here. So many folks focused on recreation and improving Cook Pond. I'd like to introduce someone also who's concerned about Cook Pond, concerned about the South End, proved it by all the work that he did month after month, week after week, in getting through this King Philip Mill project when we were fought by everyone along the way. The only people that didn't fight us was the United Nations. Everybody else fought us. Mayor Correa.
Thank you, Alan. I don't like that you ended on everybody else fought us except the United Nations that brought me up, but that's okay. Just another round of applause for Representative Alan Sylvia. You know, I'll try and condense all my comments, but there are some really important things to say. Rep. Sylvia and the Senator, I mean, just look at this area. Look at between here and across the pond, what you see going on at King Philip, what you see happening in the South End with South Coast Marketplace and so many other great opportunities happening around our city, specifically in the South End. I mean, just incredible work, Representative and Senator, and we can't do a lot of these projects like you're seeing here today without state involvement and state help. And what the representative said is so important. If this money wasn't spent here, rest assured it'd be spent somewhere else throughout the state of Massachusetts. So this is really a big deal for us. We were able to secure, with our state legislators' help, you know, $500,000 to make this a reality for all of our residents to enjoy. You know, free usage right here on Cook Pond. It's just an incredible asset. And if you think about Cook Pond itself, or Laurel Lake, as it used to be called, I certainly wasn't around then, and I don't know if I was around even when it was renamed. I don't know, maybe not. But what an incredible asset to have in the middle of an urban setting, right? In the middle of a city, to have this kind of pond, this kind of recreation, in addition to our waterfront, in addition to the bioreserve. This is a community that takes outdoors and public space very seriously. And I got to commend our environmental police, our harbor masters who are here in the back for making sure that everybody's safe while they're out here. So give them a round of applause as well. Thank you. From the city's perspective, we're just so thrilled. You know, we were able to enter into an agreement, of course, with the state when this is turned over to us to make sure that we can maintain it. And as you've seen, there was no huge cleanup effort here the last couple of days in preparation for this, like there is so many times. This is just a clean place. People are taking pride. They're taking care of it. The neighborhood is very proud of it, so that's really exciting. I'll tell you what, before a lot of these things happened, before the boat ramp, before the pier, this was a mess. This was an area that was run down. That was an area that some nefarious activities were taking place, an area where there was a lot of trash and dumping, illegal dumping, and we were able to, through a bunch of citizens, some of them are here today, we're able to clean up a lot of that and then make this investment with the state's help, and we're so proud. And lastly, this process didn't just happen with this legislative body now, right? It goes back many, many years, and the family, the Cuss family is here. A personal friend of mine, Matthew Cuss Jr., of course, is here. And of course the family. I know they're going to come up and speak, but I can't thank them enough for being here. I know Matt came up from Florida. You know, we're getting a little bit better now with the weather here, but you know, I'm very jealous in the winter time of where he spends most of his time down in Miami. So just an incredible day to bring all these partners, all these different people together with the state involvement, just amazing. And we can't thank you all enough for making this happen for all of our residents. So thank you, and God bless everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We've talked about partnerships, and especially the partnership we have with the Massachusetts Department of Fisheries and Wildlife, or Fisheries and Game. It's gone through renumerations over the years, but I've had the real pleasure to partner with them on a number of projects. Here on Cook Pond, Battleship Cove boat ramp, Westport Point boat ramp, South Watuppa Pond, so-called Dave's Beach boat ramp, Somerset, Swansea, Freetown, Lakeville, and under the leadership of our commissioner and, of course, Jack Shepard, that's been involved in all of these projects. Jack, were you involved in the original boat ramp? You were, yes. He keeps saying he's going to retire. We keep saying, no way, we're not going to let him retire. We can't lose that institutional knowledge. But as was said, these capital projects are done through the licensing fees of our sportsmen and women of the Commonwealth. And as the mayor said, this place is always kept clean. That's because the sportsmen and women of the Commonwealth take care of what they have. They are the best stewards of our environment that there are. And that's why I fight so hard all the time to ensure that we have access, places for people to fish, places for people to hunt, places for people to enjoy what God has given us in these beautiful natural resources. And our commissioner of Department of Fisheries and Game, did I get it right that time? Is that what it is now? Okay. Is Ron Amadon. He's a great friend, a great commissioner, and someone who's always there to lend an open hand and to partner with not just Fall River, but any community of the Commonwealth. Our commissioner.
Thank you very much. Appreciate the very kind introduction. It's very good to be here today. I'm glad to see such a nice crowd. Fall River is a wonderful town to be in, and it's great to be here to help celebrate the construction of this boat ramp and pier. It's also great to be able to be here and dedicate the facility in honor of Matt Cuss, and it's great to have his family here to help us with that. This facility is a wonderful amenity for the people of Fall River and all of those who enjoy fishing and boating. Both the ramp and the pier are being used by many, many people already. And as most of us have noticed, it is very, very clean. We've had no problems here at all so far. I'd like to also thank the Fall River Legislative Delegation, of course, Senator Rodrigues, Representative Sylvia, Fioli and Schmidt for their participation, all of whom helped advocate for the funding for this project. I'd also like to thank Mayor Correa and Harbor Master Bob Smith, who partnered with us on this project. Without their support and the encouragement of the neighborhood especially, this project may have never come to fruition. And talking with the environmental police here today and the Harbor Master, it's really been the neighborhood folks that have helped keep an eye on this facility that makes it look like it does today. You know, it's been open now for quite a while, and we see a project that is maintained in the fashion that this is, and it's definitely because of the neighborhood. They call all the time. If they see something out of order down here, they pick up the phone and they call, or they actually take action themselves and do something about it. That's great to see. We also need to give thanks to EEA Secretary Matt Beaton and the Baker-Polito administration for ensuring the approval of the expenditure of almost $500,000 to create this facility. Most importantly, we need to thank the employees of our Office of Fishing and Boating Access. We have with us today Jack Shepard, our director, and Deputy Director Doug Cameron is here, as well as their project managers and engineers Tony Stella and Brett Sherry. With a staff of less than 10, this very small division of the Department of Fish and Game manages over 300 boating access facilities across the entire state of Massachusetts. That's an amazing feat for those guys, and kudos to them for the ability to do that. We want to also thank Mike Bisco and Bisco Construction, the company we had down here to do this project. They partnered with us, worked very, very closely with our folks to ensure that we had a project that came out as a quality project. This access area is a great resource for Fall River. It's a great resource for the neighborhood and the many people that live here. And we enjoy the support of all of you, and we look forward to partnering with you on future projects. And next Thursday we have a DFG Day at the State House, and we hope to see all of you folks there. We're going to have some light refreshments. We'll have some seafood chowder and some venison chili. And we're going to have all kinds of promotional brochures to tell you all the wonderful things we do aside from the boat ramps and peers. We do much, much more than that. And we'd love to see continued support from you folks and continued support from the legislation. So thank you very much for being here today, and thank you very much for being our partner.
Thank you, Commissioner. Let me just reiterate, he and his team, Doug and Brett and Tony and Jack, of course, not only do they take care of over 300 boat ramps across the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, they know every square inch of every one of those boat ramps, and they treat them as their own with pride. So thank you very, very much for all you've done. You guys are just tremendous. And thank you, Commissioner. Now that I know there's going to be some venison chili up there at the State House next week, I will be there to see if it can compare to my venison chili. I doubt it, but we'll see. So last but certainly not least, before we unveil this sign, I want to introduce Matt Cuss Jr. There's been a lot of photos being circulated around from back in the 1970s when this was brand new at the time, with Matt and his dad, State Representative Matt Cuss, when this was opened over 40 years ago. And Matt was 40 years younger, and Matt III was even just a little bit of a tyke. But Matt Cuss Sr., Representative Matt Cuss, played such an important role here in the city of Fall River, in the south end of Fall River, and it was really his vision originally to ensure that this boat ramp was constructed way back then. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Matt Cuss Jr.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you very much. This is a very emotional day for me and my family, and I want to specifically thank Senator Roderick's Representative Sylvia, my dear old friend Jack Shepard from Department of Environmental Management, whose first job was the original Crook Pond thing, and I haunted him for years, and unfortunately he's just moved to Somerset. He's going to be in semi-retirement, so if anything happens that Alan and Michael can't take care of, I'm just going to go drag him into Somerset. I want to introduce a couple of people here today who've been very, very close to me. Obviously, my kid brother Mark, who I know he still looks older than I am, but he's here. Yeah. And my son Matthew, who was just a little tyke when my father first started the Crook Pond project. Also want to thank the mayor for all his support throughout this whole project. And it was over 40 years ago that my dad had this dream, and it came into reality, and then over the years it was sort of torn down. And these two gentlemen did more than anybody to bring it back up, and I know it's going to be a long-lasting thing. And one of his dreams just before he died was to take my son fishing here, but my son was too young. My dad passed away, unfortunately, very suddenly. But now, sometime later this summer, I'm going to be bringing my granddaughter here to fish with Alan's grandchildren, and we're going to have one heck of a time. I also have three other people I want to introduce. My extended family, Paul Fournier, who was my neighbor for many, many years. Thank you for coming. And my people are really family, Paul and Charlotte Souza. I thank you all from the bottom of my heart, and for my family, we really, really appreciate it. Thank you.
Don't go too far, 'cause we're going to go unveil this. Just one thing before we unveil. You know, when I called Matt to say, hey, Matt, it's finally done. We finally secured the funding. The contract's gone out to rebuild the boat ramp and the fishing pier. He goes, oh, great, great. You know, who's there now? I said, well, Jack Shepard. He goes, Jack Shepard's still there? You're kidding me, except he didn't say kidding me. He goes, you're kidding me. He's still there. I say, nope, and he's happy to be back. So please, if we can get everyone, Matt and Matt Cuss and the mayor and the commissioner, Jack, come on, please, come on. Everyone up here up front, and we're going to have Matt Cuss Jr. and the third, please, on each side of the sign. You're going to do the honors for us.
I just want to, if we can all gather in here while we do this, we can get some good photos.
Well, we're going to have them do it. You're going to do this side. No, Matt, you're on this side. Matt.
The muscles are going.
Jack's in charge as always.
Jack, we're just going to make believe, Jack.
Go ahead.
Good job.